Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Daniel Lopez with Invest in You Finance, and today we're going to talk about how I turned $21,000 into $46,000. So let's get right into it, guys. First, back in 2015, I had moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for work. I was renting a room inside of a house and I was paying $500 a month. So I knew that I was only going to sign a 6-month lease. Therefore, after that 6-month lease, I was going to need to find another place to live in. Well, paying that rent, I felt like I was throwing money away because I would pay the landlord the $500 and then he provided me a place to live, but that money was not making me any money. So I decided, well, let me start looking around in the area to see if I can find a house that I want to buy. At the time, back in 2015, the homes in Pennsylvania or in Pittsburgh, in that area, not directly in the center of Pittsburgh, but within 15 minutes of the surroundings, the homes, I was shocked to see that the homes were going from around $50,000 to $100,000 for like a normal 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. So I decided to look at some houses and I found one that was a fixer-upper and it needed a lot of work. So this house was actually going for $40,000 at the time, back in 2015. So I decided I'm gonna call the realtor. I'm not gonna bring like an extra realtor because the price is so low. I was just gonna deal directly with the listing agent. So I called him and I asked him, about the property, things like that. He was like, "Oh, the property is, it really needs a lot of work, and it's gonna be sold as is, just the way it is." So I said, "Okay," and the price was $40,000. So right there and then I offered him. I was like, "Okay, I'll give you $35,000 right now," and then he's like, "Oh, well, it just came on the market, so let me get back with you." And I was like, "Okay." So right then I started thinking, okay, how am I going to get the money to pay for this house? And I knew I had money in the stock market and I had money in my checking account. So I would just have to pull a little bit of money from the stock market and get some money that was in my checking account so I could just pay up front for this house. It was going to be a live-in flip. Basically, I was going to live inside the house, and then as I was living in there, I was just going to be fixing it up little by little on my own to eventually sell it later or do whatever I want with the property. So I thought, well, how else can I get some money? And that leads me to what I have here on the board. In 2011, when I started my job working for my corporate company, I bought a 2011 Toyota Tacoma and I paid $32,000 for the Toyota Tacoma and I financed it for 5 years with an interest rate of 2.5%. So the payment was $567 and some change. All in for this vehicle, after the 5 years, I would have paid $34,051. So the total interest was going to be $2,051 because I was financing the vehicle. I needed this vehicle for work because I was going to be driving out in the desert, driving out in Midland, Odessa, New Mexico, driving out all over the desert in West Texas. So I needed a good, reliable truck. After doing some research on Consumer Reports and just online, I saw that back in 2011, the Toyota Tacoma was very reliable. So I decided to buy the Toyota Tacoma. And this is how we financed it, or how I financed it. So fast forward, it's 2015. I'm living in Pittsburgh. The truck is paid off. So I'm done with the truck. I don't have any payments. I have the title with me and it's It's a done deal. So that makes me think, well, I could pull money out of the stock market and come up with a difference on my own, or I could see what assets I had. Well, I didn't have a house, I was renting, and the only assets that I had were this Toyota Tacoma. So I decided to see if the bank would refinance my truck and see how much they would give me. I actually paid it off in 2014, so I had like a little bit of equity because it wasn't that old. It was 4 years old, or a little bit over 4 years old. So I was curious. So I called my bank. I called my local credit union. That's who you're gonna want to deal with: local credit unions, smaller banks. And I asked them, how much would you guys lend me if I gave you guys the title to my vehicle and financed the vehicle with you guys? And they're like, okay, give me the numbers. What year is it? How many miles does it have, and all that. So I told them, I said, it's a 2011 Toyota Tacoma. It had X amount of miles at the time, and that I had it paid off, and I would give them the title. How much would they lend me using the 2011 Toyota Tacoma as collateral? So, they crunched their numbers and they checked my credit and did all that stuff, just like a normal loan. And then they said, okay, you know what? We can give you $20,000. And I said, okay. They're like, according to our Blue Book value, we can give you $21,000. So I said, okay. Okay, what are the payments? And give me all the information. They said, okay, we can do a loan amount of $21,000 for 5 years, and we'll do a 3.5% interest rate. So I said, okay, what does the payment come out to be? And they said the payment will be $381. So I said, okay, let's do it. Well, tell me, the final numbers, like how much is the interest going to be and total all in. They said the total interest is going to be $1,890, and the total borrowed is, after I pay all the interest and everything, is $22,890. Basically like $23,000, $23K. So I said, I'm thinking in my mind, all vehicles do is depreciate in value. And the only vehicles that don't depreciate in value are supercars, like very fancy, exotic supercars. Some of those vehicles don't depreciate in value. So in my mind, I was thinking, yes, I paid off the truck, but the truck's value from 2011 to 2015 had already dropped $11,000, and it was only going to drop more and more and more and more and more. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if I take this loan out, then I can put this along with the extra cash I need to pay for that house that I want to buy, the live-in flip. And I'll have debt, but this debt is going to, eventually it's going to make me money. And like I said in my other videos, guys, if you have debt, your debt better be making you money. If your debt is not making you money, then you guys need to reevaluate the situation and see what you can do to get that debt to start making you money. And in my mind, putting down the $21,000 plus the difference, that was fine for me. Yes, I was gonna have a $381 payment, but the interest rate was only 3.5%. I was only gonna do this for 5 years, so all in interest is $1,890. That's all in interest. So for someone to say, here's $21,000, the interest paid is only gonna be like $2,000, close to that. So I said, sure. So I ended up taking the loan, but I had not received an answer from the real estate agent yet. I was waiting for him to call me back to hopefully, get the deal done. And calls me back a few days later and he was like, oh, I just want to let you know that we sold the property. I'm like, oh man, like I should not have lowballed him. But at the same time, I thought, you know what? Things happen for a reason. It probably wasn't meant to be. The house was in horrible condition and I was gonna have to fix it up on my days off, which I was working like so many days. I was working anywhere from like 20 to 25 days in between. I was only getting like 10 to 5 days off a week. So during that time, I would have to fix up the house to get it ready and all that. But I was just like glad kind of that it didn't go through, because then that meant like, oh, I was already working like 90 hours a week, working all these hours at work. Then when I was gonna get off, instead of enjoying my time off, I was gonna work basically again. So I was okay that the deal did not go through. However, now I had $21,000 sitting in my checking account and I gave the bank my title already. So I was like, oh, okay, what am I gonna do with this extra $21,000? So if you guys have been looking at the board, you guys can already tell what's gonna happen over here. Anyways, it was burning a hole in my pocket. I wasn't gonna go out and blow it on partying and buy another car or buy like a boat or an SUV or side by side, whatever. I needed to get that money and I needed to, make more money because I had gone into debt, Before I had paid it off, but now I'm in debt. I owe them like $23,000. So I just decided to buy stock in the stock market. And guess what I bought, guys? Well, in August, on the 24th, I bought, in 2015, I bought BRKB. And at the time, in 2015, the stock was worth $128. So I bought 78 shares. And that came out to be $10,000, around $10,000, a little bit over $10,000. Fast forward to today, now this stock, which I still own, on the 15th, today's July 15th, 2022, Friday. So this stock is worth today $278.48 times how many shares I have. I have 78 shares. So in today's market value, BRKB at 78 shares is worth $21,721. That is an increase of 116% and a total profit of $11,675. So right there, I pretty much just wiped out my debt. And again, that same day, because I had $20,000, I bought Texas Roadhouse, TXRH, sorry. And at the time, it was $36.26. I bought 300 shares of Texas Roadhouse. And that came out to be $10,878 right here. Fast forward to today, July 15th, 2022. Texas Roadhouse is $81.60 times the 300 shares I have. That's $24,480. That's 125% increase, and the total amount that I have is the profit is $13,601. So from this $10,000 initial investment, I made $13,601. And today it's worth $24,480. I gotta turn off the baby monitor, it's beeping. I have to charge the baby monitor. My baby girl is sleeping. All right. That was a beep. You might have heard that beep in my other videos. Anyways, okay. So if I add how much I have in BRKB plus Texas Roadhouse, I have a total of $46,201. So this is how I turned $21,000 into $46,000 by taking a loan out on my 2011 Toyota Tacoma. So guys, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm just sharing you a story that has happened to me, and hopefully you guys can get some value and think outside the box. Use your brain and think of other creative ways to have your assets or the things that you already have, how they can make you money. Whether you could rent out an extra bedroom in your house, or do Turo with your vehicle that you have and make extra money doing Turo, or do Uber. These are just ways to get extra money to ultimately help you become financially free, or just help you have extra money to do whatever you want with it. But at $46,000, remember, I still had to come up with a principal, which is borrowed. So I borrowed the 23K, a little bit less, but just for easy math, I borrowed $23,000. So my total profit after all the situation is basically the same, $23,201. So $23,201 is my profit. And I still own the Toyota Tacoma. I still own it. I still drive it to this day. I have 186,000 miles. All I do to that truck is change the oil. That's all I do to that truck. That truck is amazing. And it's a standard transmission. So, I mean, they say that those standard transmissions are gonna last forever. So I do not plan on selling my Toyota Tacoma. It's a TX Pro, which is like the best top of the line Toyota Tacoma. And I love that thing. I'm a car guy. It has a rear locking differential that you can lock it with just like a touch of a button. It's super awesome. I love it. It's red. It's Barcelona red. It says TX Pro. It's the first year that the Toyota came out with the TX Pro. Look that up. But let's get back to the story. So the $21,000 loan, I made $46,000. Profit, I made $23,201. And I still have the Toyota Tacoma truck. Because remember, the depreciation of the vehicle is also something that costs me money. From $32,000, the price of the vehicle dropped to $21,000. So that's an $11,000 depreciation that the vehicle just kept depreciating. So if I didn't have the vehicle, then I could probably subtract the $11,000 and it'll reduce my profit. But I have the $23,000. I still own these stocks in my individual stock brokerage account. And this profit is still in there. So, oh, and I still have the vehicle. So let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? Like if I should subtract the depreciation, or if me having the vehicle is kind of like not subtracting the depreciation because I still have the vehicle and the vehicle is worth, X amount of money. So is my total profit really $23,201 or is it something else? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think. And if we look at the all-time highs for BRKB, the all-time high, I think, or this year, I think, has been $362 per share. So 362, and all-time high for Texas Roadhouse, or at least what I've seen, one share of Texas Roadhouse has been $201. So right now we're like in a market correction, market recession. So as long as I keep these shares, the price eventually over time is hopefully going to keep going higher and higher and higher. The moment I sell is when I have to do capital gains and figure out, okay, first in, first out, last in, last out. Texas Roadhouse does give you a dividend. I can't remember how much, but I have my dividends set to drip, so that way they just keep reinvesting fractions of the shares with whatever dividend they give me. It just automatically buys that amount back. So this number of 24,480 is actually higher because I've had it for, if I bought in 2015, I've already had it for over close to 6 years or 7 years. But if I would have put this money, the $21,000, into an S&P 500 index, I can't remember how much it went up, but basically, like, these went up 125%, 116%. I think the S&P 500 was around 84% that it's gone up since 2015. And like I said, remember, we're in a correction, recession, downturn. So right now these prices are at the current price. They're not when they were super high. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys could smash the like button, subscribe, and check out my other videos. And I'm gonna try and bring these videos out as fast as I am. I'm posting daily, which is crazy, but I'm gonna keep doing it until I get burnt out and then, see what happens. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Take it easy, take care. Remember to invest in you and to think outside the box for ways you can make money. Now, the Toyota Tacoma is just depreciating in value. So if you have a car, your car is just depreciating in value. And I'm glad I thought about this idea. I did it. It is leverage. There is risk. The risk is, what if I lost my job? What if I couldn't pay the $381 to the bank? They would have repossessed the truck. I would have zero truck. I wouldn't have a truck. However, because I didn't blow the money I invested in the stock market, I would still have the money that I invested in the stock market after they repo the car. That's worst case. I lose my job and all that stuff. Is there a risk? Yes, there's a risk. Was I young in 2015? Yes, I was young. Was I willing to take more risk? Yes. And guess what, guys? In 2015, when I took this loan out, it was supposed to be paid off in 2020. I ended up paying it off a little bit sooner. I mean, I probably shouldn't have because, the interest rate is 3.5. 3.5 is really low. But I ended up paying off like a year or 6 months earlier. And guess how much the bank lent me on my second loan? If you guys are curious about how much they lent me on my second loan when I pulled money out of my truck because it was still worth money, they were still willing to lend me money. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make that other video. Of course, we're getting to the point where the truck's like losing a lot of value. So if you're curious to know how much the bank lent me on my 2011 Toyota Tacoma, write that down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Overall, let me know what you think if I calculated anything wrong. And I appreciate your feedback. take it easy. Go check out all my other videos. Hopefully they can help you guys out. Take care and peace.